Chapter 596, A Greedy Man. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Zhang Yuochen withdrew his spiritual power and hastily retreated. Then he looked at the Red Wish emissary and asked, "Are you serious?" The Red Wish emissary was happy to see that the man was considering her offer. "Of course, I mean it." Luo Shi and Gigui pursued Zhang Yuochen, showing no signs of stopping the attack. Red Wish emissary's eyes flickered with chilly light as she shouted, "Luo Shi and Gigui, you two stop." Luo Shi and Gigui finally stopped and held back their assault. Luo Shi kept his guard up and said in a cold voice, "Your Excellency, this man killed Fang Ji and Cao Ying. Therefore, he is the sworn enemy of the Blood Cloud sect. We cannot let him go like this. I can have him beheaded if you would give me a few more seconds." Gigui knew that the Red Wish emissary appreciated the man for his talents. Fearing that the man would steal his thunder in front of the Red Wish emissary, Gigui added, "The man's background is not clear and he is close to the moon worship demonic sect. We'd better dispose of him now." The Red Wish emissary retorted, "Do I need you two to tell me what I should do?" Luo Shi and Gigui instantly kept their mouths shut, not daring to speak anymore. The Red Wish emissary looked back at Zhang Yuochen and smiled charmingly. "Have you decided to submit yourself to me? Can you really teach me superior level spells?" Zhang Yuochen pretended to be keenly interested in the superior level spells. The Red Wish emissary smiled inwardly. "My master is a phantom saint. Spells of a superior level are just a matter of asking." Zhang Yuochen pondered for a while before replying, "All right. In that case, I can work for you for the time being, but I have conditions." Gigui snorted in contempt. "How dare you bargain with Her Excellency? I can tear you apart right away." The Red Wish emissary glared at Gigui in anger and then looked mildly at Zhang Yuochen. She asked, "What are your conditions?" Zhang Yuochen said, "First of all, I will work for you, but I am not your servant." "That goes without saying. With your cultivation, you should be treated as you like. From now on, you don't have to kneel down in salute to me." Red Wish emissary replied. Zhang Yuochen continued speaking. "Second, you should provide me with all the resources I need for my cultivation, including psychic staff and superior level spells." "You are such a greedy man." "I like it." "All right, conditions accepted." The Red Wish emissary laughed. The Red Wish emissary preferred that Zhang Yuochen be greedy rather than the other way around. If he was greedy enough, it would be easier to rein him in. Zhang Yuochen said, "My name is Zhang Shengming. That's all you need to know, and I hope you would not ask me anything else. I will tell you things when I find the time is ripe. If you can accept the above-mentioned 3 points, I will be your subordinate from now on, ready to do your bidding." Gigui and Luo Shi took a step forward, wanting to dissuade the Red Wish emissary. However, she had already set her mind on it and there was nothing they could do. The Red Wish emissary agreed. "All right, I accept your conditions. Beginning today, you are one of us. Any previous discord is written off. Whoever fans the flames will be given an unforgettable lesson." The Red Wish emissary pointedly looked at Gigui and Luo Shi. "Since the night is closing in, we should adjourn. Yaoyao, you lead Mr. Zhang to his chamber for some rest." A pretty maid in white came up from behind Red Wish emissary and went to his side. She gave Zhang Yuochen a composed salute and then said in a gentle voice, "Mr. Zhang, please follow me." Nodding his head, Zhang Yuochen followed the maid called Yaoyao. She led him out of the array toward his chamber. As soon as Zhang Yuochen was out of sight, Gigui stepped forward with a chill in his eyes. "Your Excellency, we do not know where he came from, therefore we should not think highly of him." The Red Wish emissary gave him a hard look and said, "Of course, I will not think highly of him now. I need to observe him for some time. In this period you are in charge of checking out his details." Gigui smiled grimly and said, "Your Excellency, I assure you that it will not take a long time to delve into his identity with the help of the intelligence network of our black market. If he is an operative of the Earth Temple, there will be no need for us to treat him with courtesy. With the backing of the Red Willow Heights, we are in a position to tear him to pieces." The Red Wish emissary nodded her approval and said, "Go ahead and do your job." After Gigui took his leave, the Red Wish emissary looked at Luo Shi and said, "Luo Shi, send Master Xu a message saying that I will keep Zhang Shengming alive for the time being. As for the death of Fang Ji and Cao Ying, I will make amends with the Blood Cloud sect with something else. Since Her Excellency has everything at her fingertips, I shall say no more. Luoshi retreated and went to send the message to the Blood Cloud sect. When they arrived at the chamber, the maid Yaoyao gave Zhang Yuochen a provocative smile. Mr. Zhang, do you need me to serve you in bed? Yaoyao knew that by sending her over here, the Red Wish emissary was actually asking her to seduce Zhang Yuochen with her beauty and then take the opportunity to strip off his mask. The maid was endowed with a beautiful face and a sexy figure. Though much less attractive than the Red Wish emissary, she may also be considered rarity. At first glance, Yaoyao appeared to have a low status, being a servant girl of the Red Wish emissary. In reality, she was the disciple of a half-saint in the black market. Not only was she good at flirting with men, but her cultivation had also reached the 6th change in the fish-dragon realm. The fact that she was sent by the Red Wish emissary to seduce Zhang Yuochen emphasized the man's importance. Serve me on bed? Zhang Yuochen glanced at Yaoyao and shook his head. No. You go back and tell Her Excellency not to use a honey trap on me. It will not serve its purpose unless she does it herself. He then entered the room, slamming the door shut. It was the first time that Yaoyao had been rejected by a man. Gritting her teeth, she snorted coldly and turned away. Beneath the Red Willow Heights, there stood a black altar. Hanging on the walls around the altar was a picture of Saint Intention. The Red Wish emissary sat cross-legged on the altar. She was looking at the picture of Saint Intention while practicing her spiritual power. Seeing Yaoyao come in, she withdrew her spiritual power and put off practicing it. Your Excellency, Junior Uncle Master. Yaoyao bowed to the Red Wish emissary. The Red Wish emissary stared at Yaoyao in surprise and then smiled. You've come back so quickly? I guess you failed to seduce him. How is that possible? Yaoyao angrily said. He barely even looked at me. I've begun to doubt whether he is a man or not. And he has a message for your Excellency. What? He said that if you want to seduce him with beauty, you have to do it yourself. Otherwise, it won't work. The message gave the Red Wish emissary a slight jolt. She smiled and said, this man is more than greedy. You may take your leave. After Yaoyao left, the Red Wish emissary shook her head with a smile on her face before continuing to practice her spiritual power. She wanted to reach the 43rd level as soon as possible. Inside the chamber, Zhang Yuochen summoned the greedy rabbit from the scroll world and told it, if someone comes for me, remember to tell me immediately. If someone breaks into the room, kill them all. The greedy rabbit nodded and replied, Master Chen, as long as I am here, I will swallow anyone who dares to barge into the room. As it spoke, its mouth opened as wide as a wash basin and then closed again. Well then, after everything was set in order, Zhang Yuochen opened the gate to space and entered the scroll world. The greedy rabbit was left to keep guard over the yin-yang wooden graph. It shrank into a small white rabbit the size of a palm, radiating a hazy white sheen all over its body. Curled on the table, the small rabbit sometimes looked up, sometimes looked around on full alert. After all, it was the sphere of influence of the black market and Zhang Yuochen had to be cautious. It would not be easy for ordinary people to burst into Zhang Yuochen's room when it was guarded by the greedy rabbit with its current strength. Test the power of the refining warrior first. Once inside the scroll world, Zhang Yuochen took out a black iron ball, put it on his palm and started to inject his genuine qi into it. The upper half and the lower half of the iron ball began to rotate in opposite directions. A chink appeared in the middle of it. With a crack, an iron bracket stuck out from the chink. In a moment, the black iron ball turned into 3-meter-tall refining warrior. Zhang Yuochen put a top spiritual crystal into the groove on its chest. The spiritual crystal began to spin around quickly, giving off puffs of spiritual chi that activated the inscriptions inside the refining warrior's body. Swoosh! The refining warrior immediately came to life, a cyan fire burning in its eyes. It went down on one knee and said, My master. Zhang Yuochen, who was thinking about how to manipulate the refining warrior just now, was taken aback by its sudden action. He asked it, Why do you call me master? The refining warrior answered, The War Saint has already imprinted your information in my soul. See, the War Saint he's referring to must be my elder brother, King Xiao. But, What is the soul sea? Zhang Yuochen released his spiritual power to look carefully into the refining warrior. He found a ball of holy light on top of its head. The soul sea is a result of the chemistry between scent light and inscription. What an excellent way to refine weapons. Zhang Yuochen drew back his spiritual power and said, "Stand up. Give me a punch and show me how strong you are." The refining warrior rose up and said, "Master, you might not be able to bear the blow of my punch with your current cultivation." Zhang Yuochen felt disgruntled. After all, he was already able to challenge some weaker monks with the cultivation of the 9th change in the fish dragon realm as long as he put all his power into full use. How could I not take a blow from a refining warrior? In that case, how about you deploy 10% of your power to give me a punch? I want to know how strong you are. Zhang Yuochen ordered. Obeying the order, the refining warrior clenched its fist that was as large as a human head. With a sudden lunge, the fist shot out. Startled by the speed and power of the warrior's fist, Zhang Yuochen began to doubt if it had really used only 10% of its power.